Under pressure, Goff was protected. St. Brown has it. Needs to get to the 14-yard line, and he will. Craig Reynolds through the big block, and St. Brown works all the way downfield for the touchdown. On your team.
What up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Full Metal Analysis. We got my boy Marcus on the scene. Another week in sports. Big victory by the Lions. Rough game. People were shaky about how we were going to do against the Chargers. It was a rough game for the defense, but the offense played excellent. As far as last week's game goes, how do you feel about that game, Marcus?
I thought the game went pretty much. I wasn't as worried about the game as people made it out to be. I know our defense has some flaws. I know we got to generate a pass rush. We've been struggling with that. You know, nothing's really changed with that. I know we struggled against top end, quarterbacks on the higher end of the spectrum. Knew there. The thing was, I knew that looking at it, like the Chargers have struggled when you get in a shootout with them. They typically, either run out of gas or Herbert makes a mistake and something happens, and in that game, they really didn't do anything. There was no bad coaching decision or Herbert didn't do anything huge, but he did throw that interception, which I don't think the Lions capitalized on that, but they did, it did keep them on their side of the field, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless of if they did or didn't, they stayed on, they won the turnover battle that day.
Dan Campbell made a comment on that. He said that he believed that that turnover was the key moment in the game, seeing that it was a shootout and we were going back and forth. Neither defense really stopped the other offense, and that was the one key turnover that gave us the edge in that game. So, shout outs to Kirby Joseph for that pick.
I've been on the side of the fourth down, going for it, conversion rate and all of that. And hey, kick the field goal, all of that. But that game was different because I should say it was different for me because I wasn't mad at either of those situations. Like the one that he went on, that was after the turnover. And at that point, it's a turnover. So you kind of playing with house money the way I saw it. And
right.
I was okay with going for that one. And then the last one was pretty much the game was on the line. You could have kicked the field goal, but you would have gave it back to the Chargers with like a minute and something left on the clock. And the way they have been moving, you really didn't want to put your defense in that position. So I was okay with it. And had they not gotten it, boom, you still give your defense a chance. So either way, it would have been putting on the defense. But the way he played it, he just left it on the offense. So I wasn't mad at either of those, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Speaking of that, so as far as that game goes, the offense played very well, man. I think the offense was firing on all cylinders. That actually might be the best game that they played all season, and that's saying something because we've won a lot of our games by 2-score victories. But that score, we had our entire offense. I felt like Jameer and Montgomery looked excellent in that game. St. Brown does the same thing that he always does. He was clutch. Josh Reynolds has not been as productive as he usually is, but he made some him and Laporta made some key catches in that game, and the offense was running on all cylinders. If they keep that up, I don't think there's an offense in the league that can keep up with us. Maybe except for Miami, but offensively, I think that we are very sound. As far as the defense goes, like you said, we need to work on our pass rush. I don't know if there's I think me and you talked about it a little bit. If there's something the AG can get to do to get this defense consistent, because I'm not going to bash on the defense like a lot of the people are doing around the city. A lot of people are really bashing our defense. we don't have the best defense in the world, but I think our defense has been up and down all season. They've had some good games. They've had some some okay games. Uh, I think while last week was offense's our offense's best performance, I would say besides the Baltimore game, this week was our defense's worst performance. But overall, if we can just find a way to get our defense to step up, our defensive line to step up a little bit more, and have a little bit more consistency when we play top receivers. Um, I think it'd be hard pressed to stop this team.
As far as the defense, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'll tell you about the defense.
Okay.
All right. So yeah. So about the defense, I think in this NFL, man, defenses aren't what they used to be. You're probably not gonna see no time soon another Legion of Boom, another Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed type defense. So nowadays, I feel like defenses it's all about opportunity and the turnover battle, and sacks. Sacks are big too. Sacks are something we don't generate, which is not good, but we do get turnovers. I don't think the Lions right now are winning in the turnover battle on a game-to-game basis, but they're not bad. They're not like at the bottom of the league or anything like that. As far as generating sacks, they brought in Bruce Irvin. Speaking of Legion of Boom, he's an older player. This is probably gonna be like his last hurrah. It'll be nice if he can contribute. I expect to see him pretty soon. Somebody said, well, he's a vet. Maybe he'll be able to, kind of guide Hutch, which is possible. Like I said, he's on the tail end of his career. But just looking him up and going back and seeing who he was kind of a hothead. It seemed like in his early days. Says he was the only player in NFL history to get ejected from a Super Bowl. I imagine though that he's not the same guy that he was. Like I said, we all mature over time, so I'm assuming he's more mature. And he definitely, you already know that Dan and Brad vetted him out. So if he was still a high-headed or anything like that, they probably wouldn't have brought him in. So hopefully bringing him in is going to help the defense. You don't want to get in shootouts. Like you said, our offense, and that's what it is, man. Like they talked about the last 4 teams to make the Super Bowl, and it was the Cincinnati Bengals, the Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Bengals lost to, I think, the Chiefs. Oh, and the Rams. The Rams was the other team. So it's like those are all 4 high-powered offenses. And that's what it is today in today's league, man. You could have a really good defensive player to hold down your defense, but really it's about offense. And like you said, we got one of the best offenses in the league. So, the sky's the limit. So we'll see how that goes from there.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about Bruce, what you thought about Bruce Irvin. You touched on a lot of the things that I was going to say about him. I don't really remember him a whole lot from the Legion of Boom, but from what I've been hearing and the little bit of research that I have been doing, it sounds like, his best years are behind him, but he's still having some progress. I think I heard that last year he had about 3 or 4 sacks, which is suitable for what we need him for. I think 3 or 4 sacks will help this defense out. But mainly what you said was that he will bring experience to this defensive line. And being that we are the young team that we are, I think that is very valuable in what we need him for. More so than what he can bring to the teams as a player. He has that veteran experience. He's been in the postseason. He's played in the Super Bowl. Even Jared Goff has that experience on the offensive side of the ball where even though they didn't win the Super Bowl and he may not have performed very well in the postseason the year that he made it, he still has that experience. And I think that is a valuable uh, contribution to a young team like what we have. So if he can come in, get 2 or 3 sacks, I think that would be a major contribution to this team. Maybe it can get light a spark in our defensive line and get us going. And as far as him being a hothead, like you said, Dan and Brad have been meticulous about the guys they bring in into this culture. And like you said, I don't think they would have brought him in if he didn't fit the culture that they've been building. We've said several times over many podcasts, not just us, but a lot of radio and other video outlets have made the notice have noticed that they don't even if a guy is a outstanding player, they won't bring that guy in unless they fit the culture. So as far as Bruce Irvin goes, I think I'm not mad at the pick. I think he will be a major contribution in different ways.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it, and I'm hoping that he is. Like I said, I hope this is his last hurrah. I hope he ends his career with a bang. To the point where it's like, oh, maybe he'll come back next year, and he like, nah, man, that's all I had left. Like that would be ideal for me because the last time I heard Campbell's talk, he was real skeptical on Houston. He said, hopefully he come back. It'd be, like a month or so. But the way he talked, man, it didn't sound good. And then as they said, Vitae is done for the year and possibly done with football altogether. So
yeah, it might be the end of his career.
Yeah. So,
While we speaking on players, I was going to mention Vitae as well. Hopefully, if that's the end of his career, I'm glad that what I'm saying. Hopefully, he goes out on a strong note, and I think he was set. I think he was contemplating retiring before this season anyway, but he said he came back for his guys. I think he really wanted to mentor Panay a little bit longer before he retired. So I think he's going out on his own good note. But speaking of other players, like you said, James Houston, not looking good for him coming back, but CJGJ or CD Deuce or whatever you want to call himself now has been working out in the I'm seeing videos of him working out strong. I don't know how I feel about that with a torn pec, him going extra hard in the gym. I don't know whether to be excited or to be worried that he's going extra hard to try to get back. I don't want him to re-injure himself trying to get back to the field. I think we're probably going to need him for the postseason. Also, another big story in the news is Ben Johnson has been all over the news with the game that he called against the Chargers. Everyone is talking about how it was a masterful game and that skyrocketed him into the head coaching position. He was already a favorite candidate for head coach, but now with the last game that he just called, even more so. So what do you think about all these players in the post position that they have and coach? And if Ben Johnson leaves, do you think that hurts the Lions in the future?
As far as CJ, DJ, his mama named him Chauncey. I'm gonna call him Chauncey.
CD Deuce.
It would be cool if he came back, but this defense is really like one unit. Like I'm trying to think how I can say that better, but basically, no, not to be disrespectful, but it's so interchangeable. Like you might see Bug. Well, I feel like Bugs makes a little bit of noise. I think Bugs hurt too, but you might see
He's
Bugs.
sick.
Huh?
He's out with illness. That's what
Okay.
the injury report said.
Yeah, so you might see bugs out there. That's not an example, but it's like you see a car out there on the line, and then next play you got Pascal, and then they might line up the linebacker Iowa that we drafted, Jack Campbell. They might line up Jack Campbell right there, and they all kind of gonna have the same effect. And that's kind of how I feel about, like I said, I was texting you about Brian Branch. Brian Branch been out there, and he hasn't been a liability, but at the same time he hasn't made giant plays either. And that's just so many players on the defense. So like Gardner Johnson is a great tackler. And he hasn't really got an opportunity to show his ball hawking skills. So I'm sure that'll help. But, other than Kirby Joseph, Jerry Jacobs got a couple picks. But like I said, my whole thing is I feel like the defense is really, you could take out a piece, put another piece in. So the more pieces you got, though, it's better, obviously.
Yeah, the defense has been doing well with we've had guys hurt all season long, in and out, and our backups have been vital to us this season. We've had a lot of guys that weren't starters, but they came in and they stepped up and they played a decent game where you really did miss those starters. So yeah, as far as CJ I would like to see him in the game. I think he will contribute big a lot success. I would like to see him in the postseason. In the postseason, but if he doesn't make it back, like you said, I'm not too worried about it. I think this defense can still hold their own, but I just think that with him in, it would give you like a slight edge. As far as Brian Branch goes, like if he could get back to what he was doing at the beginning of the season, because he was making big plays at the beginning of the season. He was always around the ball. He was like leading the lead in tackles. Leading our team in tackles. And for a second, it was looking like he was going to be a nominee for Defensive Rookie of the Year. But with that injury, I think that injury has been hindering him the last couple of games. It may take him a couple of games to get back to what he was doing at the beginning of the season. I think that this Bears game is a good chance for him to get his confidence back, and maybe he can return to that player that we were seeing in the beginning of the season. But as far as this defense goes, and then after that, I'll leave it alone. There are a lot of rumblings about Aaron AG, what he needs to do, and I think he needs to. I like the defense that he's put together. I like the moves that he's making. It's just every now and then we run into a game where the other side, the other team has his number. And this has always been the thing with AG. I love the defense that he runs, but whenever he runs into a game or a coach that has his number, he doesn't adjust to it well. And I think that is the only problem that I have with AG.
Yeah, I just feel like if AG wasn't there, I don't think with the roster, with the defensive roster that's out there, I don't think there's a whole lot you can do. Like we on that roster, who's lining up against Keenan Allen? Linebackers, who's running stride for stride with Austin Eckler? We've struggled with tight ends for years. Justin Herbert is borderline top 10 quarterback. So.
I don't want to take nothing away from that offense that we face because we even said this before the game that the Chargers have a great offense. They're just not a clutch team. They don't win the big games. So it was a lot of what we said came to fruition, and I think it just played itself out. I think we got the best possible outcome of that game.
So before we move on, real quick, as far as Ben Johnson, he could go almost to any team in the league right now because I feel like there's more teams in need of a coach than there are teams that are confident in their coach. I'm not gonna go down the list, but the Chargers, that's one team right there. Like they have made the playoffs with Herbert once, and then they lost. And shockingly, they didn't fire their coach after that. After they lost that huge lead they had against Jacksonville. So
Yeah.
that could be an opening right there, and you could walk into a very talented offensive roster, and you have to go deal with Patrick Mahomes in that division, but still, it's what 3 wild card spots now in the league. So, we see what happens, especially depending on if they make this playoff run and how far they go. He's definitely gonna be getting some serious calls and consideration.
If Ben Johnson does leave, I've liked the adjustments and the hires that Dan Campbell has made as far as coaching goes. I feel like he's a good character when it comes to coaching. If Ben Johnson leaves, do you feel like it will majorly or greatly hurt the team, or do you think that Dan Campbell can continue to pick out good coaches to or replace Ben Johnson?
All right, so I got a baby with me now. As far as Ben Johnson, though, I think they were talking about them promoting somebody from staff. I don't know, I'm not even sure who that would even be. Maybe like Mark Brunell. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, I messed up. Hold on. So yeah, no, Mark Brunell. You got I'm trying to think who's been there. I'm trying to think who's been there the whole time. You would kind of have to go get somebody from out of the system. Because like if they did do Mark Brunell, which I'm sure he's got a good relationship with Goff, so would they be able to kind of duplicate what Ben Johnson been doing? I don't know. If Ben Johnson leaves, though, it's definitely gonna make me feel some type of way, but it's definitely inevitable. But I'm just kind of one of those things. I'm not even thinking about it till it happened because once it happened, I know I'm not gonna like it.
I definitely think they need to go find somebody outside. I mean, but then again, Ben Johnson fell out of the sky out of nowhere. So so I what I'm saying. But my main question is, do you trust Dan Campbell's decision making when it comes to that?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it'll definitely be somebody that he vet out, probably somebody that he know, probably somebody they worked with before. So he's gonna do what the best he could do. I don't think he's gonna do nothing crazy. He hasn't nobody on the staff, other than I don't think he even brought in, maybe he did, Anthony Lynn, which I still thought got a raw deal, but it is what it is. And my man they let go of the defensive backs coach, Aubrey Pleasant. But other than that, his staff is A1. He like to stick with former players that understood the game, and that's been the formula that's worked for him. So that's probably what he's gonna go with if he chooses to go that route. Brooke, go ahead.
No, I was just about to say we can move on to the Bears game coming up. But if you had another point, go ahead and put it out there.
No, we talk about the Bears game, and then I just want to do a little Pistons venting after that. But as far as the Bears go, the Bears have struggled against us. We've done pretty well against the Bears. The last time it was a nail biting game was the one, I think it was last year, where Okuda had a pick and pick six, and Justin Fields ran for like 200 yards. But that was that was like the peak of Justin Fields' play, and he has been nowhere near that form all year. I think he had one 4-touchdown game. I think he had 2 back-to-back 4-touchdown games against like Washington and some other team. But he's coming off an injury. He's probably going to be ready, but it's going to take him. If I was him, I wouldn't want to come back. Against the Lions. You would kind of want to come back against a lesser team. But I think the Lions are going to go out there, dominate the Bears. I'm thinking 36-19.
As far as the Bears go, everybody's saying that you can't take the Bears lightly because even though they have the record they have, they've been playing well. But I somewhat agree with that. I would not like the Lions to take this team lightly, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think while we have had trouble with mobile quarterbacks, and Justin Fields is a more mobile quarterback, he hasn't been running as much lately. The Bears would be like the polar opposite of what the Lions have got going because, like you said earlier, the Lions are a unit team. And they work well together. As long as they're playing as a team, then they get good results. The Bears to me seem like they sprinkle in a lot of good players. They have some decent players, but they don't work well together as a team, as a unit. It's just like a whole bunch of decent players and out for themselves, like my man on Remember the Titans. Like it's not a team. They out there for themselves, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the Bears' biggest downfall. I think we're gonna go out there and we're gonna work cohesively. I think the Bears are out there, every man for themselves. Their coaching looks horrific. I don't think they know how to use the players that they do have in the right manner, and that's why they've been losing all these games. And I think the Lions, similar score to what you said. I'll just steal your score because pretty much I don't think that I think we go out there, we dominate this game as long as we play like we know we can play. The only way I think we can stumble in this game is if we beat ourselves, and I don't think that's going to happen. I know Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to be hyped up to play his brother. Guy we wanted that ended up not being a factor on the Bears. Noah Sewell is on the Bears. So Penei Sewell is probably going to come out and play his best game. David Montgomery, a former Bear, probably going to come out and try to play his best game. So, yeah, man, I think the Lions are going to – and it's a division game, so I think the Lions are going to come out all amped up to play this game, and I don't think they're going to have no mercy on the Bears team.
Yeah, one thing you said that I liked the most was it was the leadership factor. Thinking about it, like, yeah, you got a real good point. I can't remember the last true leader that the Bears have had, and you kind of see that they've struggled for years. And you can say Justin Fields is their leader, but Justin Fields, one thing about being a leader, if your play don't line up with it, it kind of falls on deaf ears. If your best player ain't your leader, then what are you doing? And that's Justin Fields hasn't reached his potential. He's still looking for it. Sunday will be a good opportunity to announce himself coming off of an injury, but the Lions are due for a bounce back game defensively. Like you said, it's a division game. I think they'll be ready. Is it here or is it in Chicago?
I think the first game is.
I think it's here because the line is at like 7.5. So I
think it's here as well. I will hope it would be. I will hope it would be away while the weather is not too crazy, because I know we got to go back to see them again. And if it's here, then that means that when we do go back to them, the weather is going to be bad. And we all know golf doesn't pay will in bad weather. So, but I think you're right. I think it is here.
Yeah, I think it's here. So yeah, we both agree. The Lions should have a victory on Sunday.
Yeah.
Real quick on my Pistons. I just wanted to do a little, to I think we're 11 or 12 games into the season. They got the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Cavaliers are a good team.
Oh,
Donovan Mitchell is a perennial all-star. He may or may not play tonight. I'm not sure. I'm interested to see if he does. But regardless, the Pistons have lost like 9 games in a row. They started off looking pretty good. The one thing I will say that it looks like I was wrong on was my high disdain for the Oscar Thompson pick. Right now, he's playing good ball. He dunked on he dunked on a dude that's Clint Capella. Clint Capella has been a leader in the shot blocking category for year over year for a while. And he maybe not at the top, but he's constantly been top 5. So that was a hell of a play. He's great at rebounds, great at running the floor, moving without the ball. He's really fitting in. He looks like he could have fit in on any team the way he's playing right now, which is a testament to his game. So I gotta admit that I'm looking wrong on that one. But that's about the only thing I'm looking wrong on because, like I said, they lost 9 games in a row. They can't seem to win. Cade Cunningham coming into the season for me was a question mark. My biggest knock on taking Oscar Thompson was that I felt like we needed a player who could go out and get you 30, 35 plus on any given night. And, you was like, well, what if that's Cade? And I said, hey, it could be Cade. And at the beginning of the year, it looked like it was. He was coming out, he was scoring, but now he kind of hit a wall, and it's no secret what the wall is. The teams are double teaming him, and he's giving up the rock, and he's not getting it back, which is probably part of the reason why they're losing. They got Bogdanovich coming back next month, so I'm really interested to see what happens. To be honest with you, I feel like they go on a run because the way teams are playing them right now with Bogdanovich. Bogdanovich is a knockdown shooter, and Alec Burks is an old vet who should be a rotational piece on any other team, but on our team, he's like a starter, which is sad, but it is what it is. But anyway, if you go out there with Cade, Alec Burks, and Bogdanovich, then you can't double Cade without leaving a 3-point shooter open, which is how it should be. So hopefully when he comes back next month, that kind of opens the floor up for Cade, and Cade gets back to what he's doing, because last game, Cade had like 9 points, which really broke my heart. It broke my heart. It broke my wallet. It broke a lot. It was very sad. And the Pistons lost, needless to say. So,
yeah, man. Yeah, like you said, I was high on Asar. I hadn't really followed them before they drafted him. But what I saw when they drafted him was a high energy guy that was good on defense and could make plays on offense. Maybe not a high scoring guy, but he could make plays. But he was high energy. He's kind of a jack of all trades. He puts stats up in all the columns. Maybe not major stats in one particular column, but I love the blocks that he gives, the rebounds that he gives, the playmaking ability that he has. As far as the Pistons goes, I've been hearing Cade is having a rough patch. I know that they said, well, while he's been playing good, he's just not getting over the hump that he needs to be that superstar, and that's what we need him to be. He's had some trouble holding onto the ball, probably because of
walking turnover.
yeah, because but it's probably due to what you've been saying that teams know that that's the guy we got to hold down. Plus, from what I've been hearing, the team has been riddled with injuries. We don't know what they're gonna do with Jaden, Ivory. Is a question mark. And while Sasser has been playing good, he's not really found a place on this team. Doran has been hurt. So I mean, it just seems like this team is just kind of discombobulated, kind of like the same thing that I was saying with the Bears. The coaching really needs to step up and get this team in cohesiveness with each other and find an identity. I don't think this team has an identity. They're still young. You mentioned to me, I don't know if it was on the podcast or off the podcast, that we don't really have any vets to lead this team. I think that might be a big factor. But I'm under the understanding that we have a lot of cap space. We have availability to make some moves. I don't know what those moves would be, but I would assume that eventually Cade is gonna pull it together and get in the space that he needs to be to get over the hump to be the superstar. Hopefully, they find a place for Ivy on the team, and we get a understanding of what his role is to be. As along with Sasser, and then we get some of our injured players back, and we can get them going as well. And no, we might not make the playoffs, but at least maybe we can pull something together to resemble what we were looking for. When they started this season.
Last thing I'll say is that if the GM Troy Weaver doesn't, if Troy Weaver comes into next season with a similar roster to what he has right now, then next year is probably going to be his last year. He had cap space last off season, and he didn't really do anything with it. I think he ate a contract and picked up Joe Harris for the Brooklyn Nets, and they used that money to re-sign one of the higher coveted players in Cam Johnson. So I'm not sure why he did that. I'm not really sure, but maybe he just wanted Joe Harris. But Joe Harris, like I said, Joe Harris is hurt right now. Joe Harris is Joe Harris is like the seventh or eighth guy on your bench. Not really a big splash move. And we really need a splash move right now. I would love for the Pistons to make a big trade. There's a guy out of Chicago, Zach LaVine, former NBA dunk contest winner. I was arguing with my boys about the Pistons getting him. They were saying, "Oh, well, he don't fit the timeline. The contract is too big. Blah 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 blah." And it's like, no, man. The Pistons, I looked it up, man. Pistons haven't won over 25 games. It's an 82-game season. The Pistons haven't won over 25 games in 4 years. And right now, obviously, they are on pace to continue that trend, which would be 5 years, and you haven't won over 25 games. What are we doing? What are we doing? And that's where I'm at, man. That's where I was at with the Lions. That's where I was at the Lions in the past. Like, look, man, I'm not really talking about Super Bowl. I'm just trying to win a division. I'm trying to get to the playoffs. And that's where I'm at with the Pistons. Give me Zach LaVine. He's 28, 29 years old. Give up whatever you need to. Just keep Duran, and Cade. And I think Cade and LaVine next to each other would be great because LaVine is a superstar type player. He could give you 50. He give you 50 on a given night if you let him. He gave Pistons 50, man. Now I think about it, he gave the Pistons 50 a couple weeks ago. But we got to score. Like, yeah, you got to play defense, but every NBA player has the potential to play defense. Some are going to be better at it than others, but just like we said with the Lions, man, if you play team defense, then that kind of trumps individual stats as it is. So that's all I gotta say about the Pistons, man. I just hope Troy Weaver. He's not gonna go get Zach LaVine. I know he's not gonna get Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine probably don't even want to come here. but Troy Weaver got to make a big move to help out Cade, because otherwise it's like, what are we doing?
Well, hopefully they get it together, man. I expected bigger things from the Pistons this season, and you told me that they wouldn't do it. I'm still holding out hope because I'm the optimistic guy, but we'll see if they can somehow pull it together and we'll make that big move that we making. We can move around the NFL if you ready. What we did last week and what we expect from this week. I didn't really get a chance to. It's been a hectic holiday season, man. So I didn't get a chance. I missed a lot of the games, but I'll be here. A lot of interesting things going on around the league this weekend.
All right. So can you see me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. Last week. Yeah, that's last week. So last week, let's see what we got. Tennessee versus Pittsburgh. We both had. I got the wrong one. Hold on. I think that's old. Yeah, that's it. All right, my bad. Try again. Indy versus New England. We both was on Indy. Indy pulled that one out. Cleveland.
Bill Belichick gonna get fired.
Yeah, no, the rumor is that he gonna get fired, and people are speculating where he gonna go next year. I think Dan Orlovsky.
Real quick, do you if Bill Belichick does leave and goes to another team, kind of like what Tom Brady did, and invents himself, do you think he has success?
Do I think he has what?
Success.
Oh no, absolutely not. I think Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Cleveland versus Baltimore. Baltimore.
I heard Baltimore blew that game, man. I heard Baltimore was killing Cleveland and they made some bad mistakes towards the end of the game, and they blew the lead and they lost that game.
That is correct. Matter of fact, it says right here, Watson rallies Browns from 14 down and fourth to 33-31 win.
Wow.
Who is also out for the season? You hear about that?
Yeah, I heard. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are out for the season. Also heard about Joe Burrow. I was going to get to that when we got to the game, but yeah. What do you feel? How do you feel about that? I mean, Deshaun Watson was supposed to be this. I mean, we both like Deshaun Watson when he was in in Texas. But since he's got to Cleveland, man, it just seemed like a big mistake just to bring him in. I mean, he hasn't really played a majority of this season. He missed a majority of last season. What do you think about that acquisition?
I mean, it's where we were, man. It was just, you got a bad team, and it's like the Pistons. You just want to do something. They brought in Watson, but that whole scandal, that whole scandal rocked his career, man. And it don't look like he's coming back from it. He may come back from it, but it obviously is not going to be this year. It wasn't last year. If he,
for him to bring the Browns back against Lamar is a good thing, but then you hurt for the whole year. I mean, and they paying this guy a lot of money. They paying this guy a lot of money, so I mean, either way, he's well off. But as far as it goes for the team, I don't know if it's worked out for them so much.
Well, it hasn't worked out yet, but like it's a 5-year contract, so the first 2 years have been a wash. He was suspended last year; he's gonna miss this year, so you got 3 more years. If he could just come into the year and start from day one and stay healthy at least half the year, where he could just get enough to, get his footing, because that's how I feel. What it is like, he hasn't got an opportunity to get the ball rolling. And like you said, coming back against Baltimore, that's not a slouch move. So he still got it in him, but I just think he just needs some consistency and some health to get the ball rolling.
Plus, they'll get Nick Chubb back next year.
Hey, I forgot about Nick Chubb. That's a big loss too.
Yeah.
They're still rolling without both of them, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I took Cleveland in that one, so I got that one. Houston versus Cincinnati. Joe Burrow got hurt yesterday, like you said. He done for the year. Mark Andrews done for Baltimore for the year. It's a lot of injuries, man. Joe Burrow, I haven't had time to process it. I actually traded Justin Fields for Joe Burrow in my fantasy league. So, yeah, Justin Fields just missed all them games, and I felt like a winner. And now Justin Fields coming back, and Joe Burrow's out for the season. I feel like a loser. It was a pretty even trade, I guess.
You can't win for losing.
But nah, Houston. We was both on Houston, and Houston won that. Well, yeah, Houston won that game. They didn't cover.
Man, CJ Stroud had another monster game, man. He made another last-minute comeback, man. This guy is looking like he should have been a number one draft pick, and he's looking like, along with Will Anderson, it's looking like the Texans ran away with this draft, man.
Yeah, can't argue it. New Orleans versus Minnesota. We were both on New Orleans on this game, and I was reluctantly on New Orleans because I said I didn't want to bet against a hot team. And sure enough, Josh Dobbs came in and picked up another Minnesota victory.
Yeah, man. I don't know what's going on with the Saints, man. It's like you said with I forgot what team you said, but it's like they're up 1 week and they're down. Oh, it was you talking about Indiana. Yeah, man. It's like they win one, lose one. It seems like that's what the Saints are at right now. Win one, lose
one. Tennessee versus Tampa Bay. I took Tennessee. You took Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay blew the doors off of Tennessee 20-6.
How your boy Will Levis doing since that one Hail Mary game that he had? I like to call it the Hail Mary game because all he did was throw Hail Marys that game.
Yeah, so he gonna have to get back to that because right now, hold on to that ball ain't doing him any favors at all. San Francisco versus Jacksonville. We was both on San Francisco. San Francisco won 34-3. Jacksonville is kind of in that Miami is kind of moving towards that Miami category. So can they beat real teams?
Right. I figured they was going to come back and have a strong game. Brock Purdy was looking back to form with Deebo Sanders back in the lineup. So I don't know if that will continue to go on. We'll see what San Francisco does for the rest of that year.
All right. What the heck? All right. What else we got? We got Green Bay versus Pittsburgh. I took Green Bay. You took Pittsburgh. You got that one. Pittsburgh won by 4. The line was 3.5.
Pittsburgh is winning without any significant weapons, and I mean their defense is great, but I got to give their success to Mike Tomlin, man. I mean, kudos to them for being able to pull these games out.
Yeah, Green Bay is just a kind of sad looking team. They try. I guess you give them that, but other than that, I can't really say a whole lot good about Green Bay. Other than Jordan Love is the only quarterback left. I think even Sam Howell's taken in my fantasy league, so I got to roll with Jordan Love now, which doesn't make me feel good at all. Atlanta versus Arizona. We was both on Atlanta, but we counted out Kyler Murray, who came back and won that game.
Yeah, I did not see that game. So Kyler Murray had a good game. He had a good comeback game.
Yeah, he came back and did Kyler Murray things. I saw very little highlights from it, but we should have known. How can we bet on Atlanta?
Right. Yeah. I was more so betting on Bijan to have a good game more so than Atlanta, but no. Hey, he's a rookie. You can't put the team on his back just yet.
Detroit versus the Chargers. We were both on Detroit. Detroit. I think the line was like 3, so it would have been a push, but Detroit obviously won 41-38. Washington versus Seattle. I had Washington. You had Seattle. I call it a flip-flop game. With the spread, I won that one. Seattle was given 6, and they won by 3.
Okay.
Dallas versus the Giants. We both was on Dallas. Didn't matter what that spread was. 49-17.
No, yeah, it didn't matter.
Raiders.
Then they had a real big spread too. You tried to trap me and tried to get me to take the spread. No.
Raiders versus Jets. We was both on the Raiders, and the Raiders pulled that one out. You think what are the odds that Antonio Pierce keeps that job?
No, I mean they haven't been looking good, man. I mean, it might. I mean, with Aaron Rodgers,
They 2-0 with new coach.
Huh?
They 2-0 with the new coach.
I mean, it's like a lot of guys come in and do well as the interim coach, but that doesn't mean they keep their job. So I think that means nothing.
I think I will put it at this rate. You know, obviously, if they have a monumental collapse, but where it stands at right now, I think he's got like a 65% chance of keeping it. Simply because the Raiders have been so bad, the players like this guy, and I think the political reason would be there's so much talk about minority hires in the NFL, and Mark Davis. I feel like Mark Davis might jump on that opportunity to capitalize. You know, saying, "Hey, I hired a minority coach," and get some publicity generated for the Raiders going into next season. So I put it about 65% right now. Now,
Well, I hope so. Well, I mean, I hope so. I mean, what you're saying is not wrong. When I said that, I don't mean that. I don't think I didn't think he's the right choice for the job. What I'm saying is that in the past, a lot of coaches have been the right guy for the job. They fit the players like the guy. The guy is winning games, and he's the right fit for the team. But what is always the right fit for the team is not always the right fit for the NFL. And a lot of the times, the guy that deserves the job doesn't get the job. So every point that you made is a great point, and I hope the guy does get. I hope he does get the job. But based on past history, it's a good chance that they don't.
I think Dan Campbell was 4-0 as an interim coach, and he didn't get it. So no, I understand what you're saying. So moving on to this week, we got the Lions versus Chicago. Lions given 7.5. We definitely covered that already. I'm pretty sure we both on Detroit.
Yeah, blowout game.
All right. Next game, you got Dallas going into Carolina. Carolina's getting 10.5 at home.
Dallas looks like Super Bowl contenders against bad teams. Carolina is a bad team. I don't think that they cover the spread. I think that Dallas wins that game without question.
With you, CeeDee Lamb and Dak are on fire right now, and Carolina Panthers don't put any fear into anybody. So yeah, I gotta go with Dallas on that one. The Raiders are going into Miami. Miami is at home, giving the Raiders 13.5.
We just talked about how this coach is 2-0 with how they're 2-0 with the new coach, but They don't have enough for that. They don't have enough for this Miami offense. I think Miami goes out there and they remind the Raiders that they are the Raiders. Let's not get too big ahead, and they take that game.
I made the mistake last week. I'm not making the mistake again. I'm not betting against a hot team. I'm gonna take the 13.5. I think the Dolphins do win, but I think the Raiders just kind of, in a classic Raiders fashion, just nasty the game up. Hit two a couple times, but ultimately I think the Dolphins win by like 10.
I actually kind of agree with you on that, but I'm stick with my pick.
Got you. Tennessee is going to Jacksonville, and Tennessee is getting 7 on the road.
I'm gonna go with Jacksonville. Tennessee is a middle of the road team. I think while they can beat lower level teams, I think that Jacksonville has a bounce back game. They take this game against Tennessee, and I think they take this game against Tennessee.
I hate taking Tennessee. I really do hate taking them. I'm going to take Tennessee. I think Tennessee is due for a bounce back game as well. And
you really need Derrick Henry to have a good game.
I need Mike Variable to have a good coaching day. I need Derrick Henry to have a good day. I need Will Levis to go back to throwing bombs. I need DeAndre Hopkins to have like 150 yards. I need a lot of things, but I just don't feel good. I hate both these teams. I feel like every time I bet on them, they do the opposite. Tennessee is Tennessee's make or break game. They're gonna move into New England territory if they let me down here. Arizona is going to Houston to take on the Texans. Arizona's getting 6 on the road.
I am going to take the Houston Texans. Houston has CJ Stroud has been on fire. He's had 2 monster games. I understand that Kyler Murray is back in the fold, and he had a good game last week. But as we said, it was Atlanta, and the Houston has been on fire.
I would like to take Arizona, but you are right. Houston has been doing good. I can't go against my own theory and not take the hot team. And all I can see is what's my man name? Will Anderson, and that Houston defense just chasing Kyler Murray all over the field. And Kyler can't find nowhere to go with the ball because Hopkins not out there no more. So
yeah, he has no one to throw to.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I'll take Houston as well. What a great game this is. The New York Giants are taking on the Washington Commanders. Washington is given 8.5.
I am going to take the Commanders. As you know, Sam Howell is my boy. The Giants are awful. I think they may beat out Carolina for the number 1 pick in the draft that's coming up here. I'm going to take the Commanders.
God, the Giants are horrible. I watched that game last week, and it was like 4th and 1 or something like that. And they were down by like 10 or 7 or something like that. And they went out there to go for it. And I was like, if they go for it, this game's about to be a blowout. Because I knew they weren't going to get it. And sure enough, Saquon got stopped, and the game just went out of hand from there. And I was like, man, the Giants are just so terrible.
Terrible.
Which is why I just leave such a nasty taste in my mouth to say, I'm going to take the Giants.
Why?
Washington, I mean, respect to Washington, but they shouldn't be giving 8.5 to anybody. I just can't take 8.5.
Sam, Sam, I think they said Sam Howell leads the league in is either yards or touchdowns.
Sam Howell's been sacked, leads the league in sacks. I know that for sure.
Hey,
Sam
yeah,
Howell is as far as fantasy football, Sam Howell's a top 10 quarterback.
yeah.
No, whatever the stat is, I believe it.
Yeah, I mean they have they gave away their defense, but other than that, they okay.
Yeah, man, that's such a tough game. That line is what really messed me up, man. I definitely think Washington's gonna win, but that line messing me up. All right, the LA Chargers are going to Green Bay. Green Bay is getting 3 at home.
I think that the Chargers played the best game of their season last week against our Lions, and they lost. Then they come out this week, they're going to be pissed off. They're going to want to take it out on somebody, and the Green Bay is that team. So I will take the Chargers.
We're on the same page with this. You could have made that line. You could have made that line 8.5, and I still would have took the Chargers. Pittsburgh, the team that just wins, is going.
You're right. You can't explain why they win, but they win.
They're going to Cleveland. Browns are giving 1.5 at home.
They played earlier this year. That game was interesting to say the least. But the Browns just lost to Sean Watson. I don't think that they have a great game. Pittsburgh finds ways to win somehow, and I think that they take this game.
With you, this is an ugly game, and you do not want to play an ugly game with Pittsburgh because, like you said, they usually find ways to win that. Tampa Bay is going to San Francisco. San Francisco is giving Tampa Bay 12.
The fact that they're playing San Francisco and San Francisco looked so good last week, I'm gonna roll with San Francisco. Tampa Bay with Baker Mayfield is hit or miss. Whenever they go up against a strong team, they cannot pull it out. I think it will be a tight. I can't even say it'll be a tight game. I think it will be a close game for the most part, and then San Francisco runs away with it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. San Francisco got some key pieces back. They got they offensive lineman back. They got Debo back. Debo had a subpar game last week, so he's due for a warm-up game against Tampa Bay. I think we see it, and I think they rout him. The New York Jets going to Buffalo. The Jets are getting 7.
Okay. Well, this is a hard one. Only because I think the Bills will win that game, but Josh Allen going up against that Jets defense, I think he'll have numerous turnovers. But I'm gonna say that the Bills will hold on to win, even though he has a lot of turnovers in this game. I think the Bills will hold on to win. I've been saying this all season. I have no faith in Zach Wilson, so I'm gonna roll with Buffalo Bills in this game.
Man, this is a tough game. This is a. I'm gonna take Buffalo based on story alone, just narrative alone. You know, Trayvon Diggs tweeting for Stephon Diggs, like, get this man out of here. They just fired their offensive coordinator. Like, everybody's questioning this team. Their playoff lives are at stake. You need a win here, and you need a convincing win to make people still fear you. So yeah, I'm with you. I'll take Buffalo. um, practically a pick 'em. Seattle going into LA to take on the Rams. Seattle's getting one. I'm sorry, Seattle is giving one.
It all cheers me out when they give one. That LA team, even though Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup, they still have Puka Nakua and Cooper Cup, but they're just not the same team without Matt Stafford. Give me the damn. Say the matchup again. LA and who?
Seattle and
Yeah.
Rams.
Give me Seattle in this game.
Matt Stafford progressing well, likely to start for Rams one day ago.
Oh, Matt Stafford is going to play?
Likely to start, it says. He got a full workload in practice the other day, it says.
Okay. Now you made it difficult for me. If Matt Stafford plays, I think the LA takes this game. I think LA takes this game. I think it'll be a tough game, but I think Matt Stafford will come out and he'll be looking for a victory. Since he went out on a bad note, he was losing games right before he got hurt, and they've been losing games since he's been gone. So I think they take this guy.
I will also take the Rams. I watched I thought about sending it to you, man, but it hurt me, so I knew it definitely would hurt you. It was a YouTube video. It's called "The Curse of Bobby Lane," and it was a minor compilation, about 16, 17-minute video of all of the times the NFL has screwed the Lions, like in the past decade. You know, it's been more than what it showed. And what's crazy is that I think it was only like 4 plays that they showed, and I can remember distinctly where I was for 3 of the 4. I remember distinctly where I was, but it was a Rasheem Mathis interception return. I don't remember where I was for that, but then it was the Golden Tate Atlanta Falcons
touchdown,
10-second runoff.
Man,
it was the Calvin Johnson process catch.
The most famous moment where the NFL hold the Lions.
Actually, that was the second most famous, because the most famous was the Dallas Cowboys playoff pass interference.
Oh yeah,
picked up the flag. And I remember that they picked up the flag. I do not remember that they went out there, they threw the flag, immediately went up there, said pass interference, defense, number so-and-so, automatic first down. And then like 5 minutes went by, and they came back out there and was like, we picked up the flag. And the reason that I brought that up, man, because I think that was the game that Matthew Stafford died. Because I've never seen it before. They showed Matthew Stafford was pissed, and he just kept on saying to the referee, like, it's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. And then he was on the sideline just walking up and down like, that's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I think that was the day that he died on the inside, man.
That was the moment he was like, I can't get jiggy with this team.
No. If you want to just, the best part is like just seeing where the Lions are now, but dog, just the way that they just get screwed by the NFL for no reason is amazing.
No reason.
But anyway, moving on, I'm taking the Rams on that. Minnesota is going to Denver. Minnesota's getting 2.
Unfortunately, Minnesota has been on a winning streak, and I don't see them losing it to Denver. Even though Denver actually won last week, which surprised me. But I don't think Minnesota loses this game. I think they continue their streak and contend with us in this division rivalry, even though I don't think we'll lose to Minnesota, but I think they're gonna when we face Minnesota, it will be a very important division game.
I think that this will be a pretty entertaining Sunday night game between two mid-level teams. I'm actually going to take Denver because I think Denver is going to get a little something going here. And I think Minnesota, I think the train's got to stop at some point. If they win 6 or 7 games, whatever it's at now in a row, that would be amazing. And props to them. I think Justin Jefferson might even come back, but I got to take Denver. Sunday Night Football, Mile High Stadium. I'll take Denver on this.
This is one of them picks where I hope I'm wrong and you're right.
It sounds crazy, but I actually like Minnesota. I've always liked Minnesota, man. I always like the back with the little guy.
Chris Carter?
Huh?
Chris Carter?
No, not that far back. Back when Stephon Diggs was on the team. Case Keenum. I like Case Keenum. I thought he got a raw deal.
Oh, okay.
They kicked him out for Kirk Cousins, which is understandable, but still, he was just one of them guys, that just go out there and try to win.
I've never hated the Vikings like I have the Packers and the Bears, but I never care for them.
Oh yeah, I always like the horn and I thought the skull clap they do was kind of cool and shit.
I don't know, man. There's something about their colors that just I could never be a Vikings fan. Even if I lived in Minnesota, I think I would grow up and be like, y'all suck.
Oh no! Every time I think of their colors, man, I think of Randy Moss. That was my introduction to the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean the players have always been cool. They've always had good players. They've always had respectable players. I don't know. They're just a team that I've never. They don't get me excited.
Off the top of my head, Tennessee. The way you talking, that's how I feel about Tennessee. Like they whole scheme is just boring as hell to me. But lastly, man, the game of the week, Monday Night Football. Wow, I feel like that's the same line from the Super Bowl. Philadelphia is getting 2.5 going into Kansas City.
Wow. I actually don't know where to go with this game. Revenge game for Philly, but it depends on if Kansas City comes out playing their best game or not. I honestly feel like this depends on Kansas City. If they come out firing on all syllables, and I hate to pick against Kansas City, but that being said, how many points you say it was?
2.5.
That being said, I'm gonna roll with Philly. I don't have confidence in it because I hate to pick against. I hate to pick against Kansas City. I hate to pick against Patrick Mahomes, but I'm gonna roll with Philly.
If it was 3.5, I would go with Philly. You know, I go with Philly every week, but it's a battle of the big dogs. You brought up, I'm pretty sure it was, you brought up, oh, no, it was my co-worker. But as you well aware know, Jalen Hurts. Yeah. The quarterback, yeah. Jalen Hurts, his knee been acting up. He got a knee brace on. I don't think it's going to hinder him too much, but it is going to hinder him to a degree. On the flip side, Taylor Swift will be in the building. I think they said Taylor Swift's parents are supposed to meet the Kelseys. It's just it's just gonna be a Kansas City Taylor Swift.
I might have to change my pick now that I know that Taylor Swift is going to be in the building.
If it, like I said, if it was 3.5, I would take Philly. 2.5, I'm quite comfortable taking Kansas City.
Like I said, I hate picking against Patrick Mahomes. That's my guy. I think that he can do amazing things, but I'm gonna stick with my original pick.
Okay, all right. Well, that's the picks, man. Real quick, if y'all are into betting, and you too, man, check out that ESPN bet. It used to be Barstool Sportsbook. If you had a Barstool Sportsbook account already, it'll automatically roll over. I got a futures bet on there. I had a futures bet on Barstool Sports, and then I logged into ESPN Bet, and my futures bet was still there. But regardless, they had a promo going. I was reading it. I'm not really sure the details. It kind of made it seem like you had to register like a couple days ago, but it said that the promotion is going to go on until December like 13 or 14. So I'm pretty sure it's just like a launch promotion. And basically, if you make any type of bet, I made a $5 bet, and then they gave me 4 $50 free bets that I got to use within a week. So check it out.
ESPN, remember this free advertising. Remember who gave you this free advertising. Full Metal Analysis, baby. Look us up. Support us. Yeah, but yeah, man. Real quick, I would just like to say we've got a few subscribers and about 50-something views this month. I think we had like a 60-something views last week. Shout out to all the people who have supported this. It's not a lot, but it's a start to get us up in the algorithm on YouTube. Please continue to support us. Like, subscribe, share us whenever you can. Support the stream. Please. We haven't had a lot of comments. Leave comments. We will get to your questions, your takes, your responses, and we'll respond to them if you leave them. Well, we can't respond to anything that you don't leave. So shout out to everybody that supported us so far. Keep it up. That's all I got for this week. Marcus, got anything?
No, that's it, man. Thanksgiving is next week, so we'll probably get one after that. So if you don't hear from us, happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Yeah, if we don't hear from you, Lions gonna take the game against Green Bay as well. That's all I got. Peace.